This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news will fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And hello, everybody. Yes, we are rolling. Welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Les Jackson. The other guy you're about to hear is Fred Staub. He's waving.
It's a windshield
Don't
wiper.
say the word. Don't
No.
say the word. You promise.
I'm not allowed to say certain words like bespoke.
There's a certain British
sorry.
word. Anyway, we have a bunch of stories this hour, as we always do, and I drove 16 different new vehicles on Thursday.
Yeah, some of them weren't even out yet, like this Mazda electric, right?
Yeah,
MX-30.
That's right. I'll just mention a little bit about a few of them later on.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Les. I had that chance to do that last week at the Impetus Days.
Right.
And we'll give you some quickie reviews of some things Les drove this week at the WAPA rally. Also, we're going to start off this hour with GM saying, well, they're going to get better profits and higher margins. And how are they going to do it? Well, we'll tell you. And what will it mean for what you buy in the showroom floor? How about a really inexpensive electric car that's even less than the Chevy Bolt? Could be. I don't know how they'll make profit on that, Les Jackson, but it is interesting.
I don't know, but I might want to buy one.
Okay.
And Subaru, the 2023 Forester, could have some hybrid help from our friends at Toyota.
Yeah, if you're going to get a hybrid system going and you're going to license it from someone, Toyota might not be a bad one to go with. And then we're going to talk tech, Les, custom paint for less. How is BMW going to do it? Factory custom paint. I say a big roller. What do you think?
Absolutely. And Maserati has a lot to talk about. For 2022, I drove their Trofeo on Thursday. Got a lot of attention in that.
Yeah. Let's just put it this way, Les. Chicks dug you.
Yes. Yes.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We already told you about Les driving a bunch of cars.
That's right.
Maybe you could redesign the next Astro van. No, it's not from Chevy. It is the van that NASA astronauts use. It's actually a motorhome to get to and from the launch pad. And NASA's going to have people redesigning it. We'll get some ideas. As you can see, the interior, it's not that luxurious. It's more functional.
It's kind of plain.
Yeah,
now, kind of has Airstream been making those all these years?
They have, but these are from the 80s, actually, so they feel they need a little update. Not a bad idea. Hey, we're going to take a break and be right back with Cruise Control, so stay tuned. How GM is going to make big bucks. We'll tell you how.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson telling you about the automotive industry, what's going down, what's coming to a showroom near you. Interesting story this week, I think it was on Bloomberg. GM details their plan to double their revenue and drive higher profit margins.
Well, that's just swell.
Who doesn't want to double their revenue?
How does one do that?
Well, they detailed a roadmap this week, Les, and how they're going to double their revenue, expand margins by 12 to 14% by 2030. It sounds aggressive to me, but basically, here's what they feel that they will do. These are the GM's financial targets, and I'm going to read right off from their press release here. Compelling revenue growth with improved diversification.
Mm-hmm.
They will work to become a software business and new business growing at nearly 50% before 2030. Margin expansion, deliver margins of 12 to 14% by the end of the decade, with core auto business margins expanding as EVs scale and battery costs decline.
Okay, that probably will happen.
They will offer compelling platforms.
Compelling again.
You got to have compelling. Commercialization of Cruz, their autonomous services. Internally funded capital spending. Strong cash conversion. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a business guy. So
I don't know what that means.
Cash conversion is when I go to the grocery store and the cash converts to food.
Yeah, I get 4 quarters for $1.
That's cash conversion. I'll put this in perspective. I think what's happening is you're seeing the price of cars go up and up and up, right? Now it's not uncommon if you want a nicely equipped vehicle to spend 40, 50, 60 thousand, maybe more if you buy a truck. People are like, yeah, well, that's a $70,000 truck, right? Unheard of in the past. So prices never go down. But as everything goes to electric, eventually it will be cheaper to build an electric vehicle than it will be to build a gas vehicle. Let's face it.
Absolutely.
It's easier to use these platforms between vehicles. You don't have to build a complex engine. I think a motor is much less complex, right?
Typical engine has well over 100 moving parts. An electric motor has 1.
The other thing, no EPA certification, I don't think.
Nope.
That
don't
costs
need it.
Millions per vehicle, right?
It would, yes.
Not each individual vehicle, but if you, say, have a V6, SUV, that it costs millions to certify that. Then if you have a 4-cylinder version, it costs millions.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that. I think they'll be able to build them faster. What do you think?
Should be able to.
Yeah.
It's much less complicated.
Yeah. So my view is, how do you increase profits? Well, you increase profits by getting people used to buying a $40,000, $50,000 car, getting used to longer loans for these things. Yet when the electric car comes out, you don't charge less for it. You charge the same price or more. So there you've increased your margin.
And this is very much like the 50s and 60s when they made huge margins, even though they changed the body style every year, because the drivetrains remained largely unchanged for 8-10 years at a time.
Case in point, didn't the Corvette ride on the same chassis from 1963 all the way up to 1980 something?
84. Yeah.
Got their money's worth. You know, they got their money's worth on that.
Yeah.
But it is the same thing in a sense. It's going to be the pancake with batteries,
right?
Motors, either a motor at the front, motor at the back, and you pop on the body you want, right?
And you can then afford to make really interesting new styling.
Yeah. So I think that's how they'll make money. And there's probably other ways too, where they build these things and all that. But hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about Subaru going hybrid with help from Toyota. Stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back. Cruise Control. Fred and I were talking about GM's plan to make a fortune.
You got one of those? Cash conversion. I love that.
We don't know what that is.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that every future GM vehicle will be a $70,000 truck.
No.
Matter of fact, there's an interesting article this week. I think this was on Car Buzz, but I forget where it originally came from. But Chevrolet might be coming to market with Equinox EV sub $30,000. And that, I don't know how you make money on that. You probably don't build it here in the U.S., right?
Probably not.
Yeah. But no matter how you slice it, there's less profit in there if you're selling vehicles like that. That's why they sell big trucks, because they're big profit. But it would be an entry-level EV, cheaper than the Bolt. We love the Bolt. Of course, it has stumbled a little bit lately not due to GM, but due to their battery supplier problem. And this Mark Royce is the one that mentioned this Equinox EV, GM executive, GM president. He also talked about the electric Silverado that would be coming out soon. And, if they could do that, a vehicle less than $30,000, an Equinox, a familiar platform, that would be a big deal, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah. Let's move over to Subaru. Subaru has a new generation Forester coming out in 2023. And there's a rumor going around, according to the Japanese magazine Mag X, that the next generation Forester will offer a plug-in hybrid powertrain sourced from Toyota. Now, of course, Subaru and Toyota have worked together on the BRZ and the 86 for a long time. And so this is not unexpected. They have a good relationship. And there was some talk in this magazine about would they use the plug-in system from the RAV4, which is really a nice plug-in system. We had a chance to review that not that long ago. And that system has an electric rear drive for the rear wheels, but an actual connection to the front wheels, mechanical connection. So they were theorizing that Subaru would stick with a mechanical connection for the rear wheels as well and do something a little bit more traditional than what is offered on the RAV4. Who knows? But it really makes sense that they're teaming up with Toyota. If you're going to team up with anyone for hybrids, Toyota's not a bad bet, is it?
Yeah. I mean, this is clearly this is a great way for them to go. And what do you think? Which one will be cheaper?
I think, I don't know. I think the Subaru will. I think they're just going to bring out a little less, maybe they'll do like a mechanical, be a full-time all-wheel drive with hybrid help. And I don't know. They, once again, plug-in hybrid, pretty good way to go. We'll have to see. But it makes sense to team up with basically the hybrid leader here. They're the best in the business when it comes to hybrid. I think Toyota. They've been doing it the longest, and the transitions, from the engine starting to stopping to going from electric mode to gas powered mode are really smooth. I think they're the best, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll watch out for that and see. Of course, a new Crosstrek coming too from Toyota. From Subaru. We don't know if Toyota is going to be involved with that, but a lot going on there. A lot going on there as well. Just jumping back to GM for a moment. We now know when the Z06 is going to be revealed, 12 p.m. on 10/26/21. I think it's a pretty good-looking vehicle, the C8 Z06. It's not overdone, which I like. Okay, there's a prototype version of it, but this is not overdone. We don't know that much about it. 650 horsepower, dual plane crankshaft. Pretty good stuff, though. Pretty good stuff, and I think it's going to be exciting. Price tag, what do you think? I'd say $100,000 easy.
110.
110. There you go. But it's good looking vehicle. Got some pictures up on our Facebook page you can check out as well. And it's going to roll out. What do we think it's going to happen? We're going to think the E-Ray, which is the hybrid all-wheel drive version, is going to replace the Grand Sport. So that will probably be next. And then beyond that, it is the Zora with 1,000 horsepower, which could theoretically be the swan song for the internal combustion powered C8. That might come along in a number of years, but I think the E-Ray is next, the electrified version. It's just going to roll out. It'll be an exciting time. And we'll be talking to some Corvette folks about it, I'm sure, because they like to talk about it. So, hey, Les, let's talk about some of the vehicles you drove this week. You drove this MX-30. It's not even out yet. You're ahead of the curve, my friend.
This is a really, really nice, smooth electric SUV, all electric.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Not meant to be 2 seconds, but it's fast.
It looks pretty traditional on the outside.
Very traditional, very high quality interior.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice ride. And the smartest thing I've seen any company do
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of range anxiety.
What do they do?
Every electric thing we've ever driven tells you how many miles you have left.
Right.
So you're always concentrating on it.
Yeah, sure. You're always worried about it.
All they did in this is they put a gas gauge in it.
Well, people are used to that.
And it says full, 3/4, half, and you have no range anxiety.
That makes sense.
And it only has right now 150-mile range.
Wow. Now you kind of lost me there on that. That's a little concerning.
Well, they said they're working on that, and this is, this is preliminary.
Right.
But the point is, you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's just like filling your gas tank.
Yeah. All right. Well, you did drive some. Tell us about the event, by the way.
This is the annual Washington Automotive Press rally, which is not a rally; it's just a ride and drive.
But rally sounds good.
That's right. It used to actually be a rally.
Okay.
But times change, and manufacturers, about 20 manufacturers brought out their stuff, and we had about 40 different vehicles.
Okay.
I drove 16. I drove that one. The pictures were showing. While the Wagoneer is there, that is an incredible new machine.
Super luxurious.
It's huge. It's very, very comfortable. It's very expensive, but boy, are they going to sell them.
And there's Les with his Maserati.
That's me and the Maserati Trofeo just before a carload of women pulled over and wanted to see it.
Oh, boy.
Pushing me aside.
How about these things?
Those are Lexus's new vehicles. One is their hot rod, very fast car.
Mm-hmm.
And I only drove that one.
Yeah.
You have to jump, you have 20 minutes in each.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about what Les drove, and we're also going to talk about Maserati coming up for 2022 and more, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to this bespoke edition of Cruise Control Radio. Sorry, Les, we just got to...
Yes. Well,
they are bespoke. I mean, each one is unique.
And we're running through the docket.
All right, we've worked that one a little bit, but let's take a look at what Maserati, brand we don't talk about a lot.
Well, no, but the fact is Maserati is a highly desired and respected brand. Of course, they're Ferrari engines.
Yeah. And
505 horsepower.
Yep. Plenty of new things going on for 2022. The Modena, the Trofeo, the Ghibli.
Right.
I always want to say Ghibli gravy. That's what I want to say. I don't know why.
Yes. Well,
with Ghibli
right.
gravy. Yes, that comes with Ghibli gravy.
Great fun to drive. You know, they're just lovely to drive and very fast, very smooth.
Yeah.
Get a lot of attention.
As you explained earlier, apparently you had a Quattroporte, the 4-door. That's what it stands for, right?
Right.
So new trims, GT trim, will be available on their models with 19 and 20-inch wheels, leather comfort seats, dark mirror trim. That is new. The Modena trim will be more of a sporty style. And then there's the Modena S trim on the Levante only. Driver's assistance package, including active driving assist. Nerissimo package. Not quite sure what that includes. Nerissimo. And a black window surround treatment and gloss black calipers. And Trofeo trim, which is maximum performance, top of the range. You get the 580 horsepower V8 twin turbocharged engine and 21-inch wheels.
Yep. Glassy smooth.
You know, I wonder why people never, hot rodders, I guess because they can't tune them and LS engines are so available. But I always thought it'd be fun to do a different engine, like a Maserati engine in a street rod or something like that. And,
well, in the old days, people did because the engines didn't last very long.
Yeah.
So they put a Chevy V8 in them.
But I guess you're going to spend more, and just to do, it's a SEMA type thing. It would be different, but it's like, why do you have to tune it? It's got 580 horsepower. That's enough.
That's right. Oh, believe me, it's plenty.
So a bunch of new trims from Maserati, new things going on, new updates. They have a great lineup. Incredible looking vehicles, whether you want an SUV or, yes, even a sedan. They still sell them, don't they? Sedans.
Beautiful car.
Yeah, yeah. What else did you drive at that event, Les? This is the Whopper Rally event.
Yes, indeed. The Bronco.
Yeah, I drove the Bronco. What'd you think of it?
It was pretty decent. Is it a Jeep beater? I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
But it's pretty close.
Yep. An Audi, looks like.
The Audi SQ5, which was delightful.
Uh-huh.
Really a nice driver, as Audi always is.
And then you drove
the Honda Civic, because I am middle class, and I think we should drive what most of our listeners drive rather than the exotic stuff all the time.
Now, what's this Hyundai?
That's the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Big surprise. I thought, okay, it's kind of like a modern Subaru Brat.
Yeah, without the seats in the back.
Yep, but got in it with a passenger, and both of us, about a mile down the road, said, boy, this thing is really nice.
Yeah. And you have a little bed back there.
Yeah, it was an SUV with a little bed.
And then you had this vehicle, Grand Wagoneer, that's an expensive piece of machinery.
Unbelievable, 102,000,
Wow.
and just you're going to see a lot of these.
And then here is the chick magnet himself with his quattroporte.
There he is, looking as handsome as ever.
But nice vehicle,
yeah.
Beautiful vehicle.
Oh boy,
a grand tourer, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Infiniti QX60.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything on
the Kia 5, and in fact, I drove the Kia 5 back home from there.
Uh-huh. Were you authorized to do that, or did you just take
I was authorized to do that. the S-Class Mercedes.
Yeah, I have to
which
say,
I could tell a story about.
Well, tell a story. I'll be honest, I'm always a fan of the S-Class Mercedes, and people are going to say, we hate you for this, but I actually was surprised. I thought the thing was $200,000. It's actually you can pick one up for 130, 140.
Yeah. Well, but no, you can't.
Oh,
no, you can't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's the little thing called dealer markup, right?
Well, these days when cars are in short supply, riding with me was the vice president of the Dealers Association.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me, we were talking about the cost of new vehicles and used vehicles and no deals. And he said, I'll tell you, I won't name the dealership, but a Mercedes fully loaded S-Class was just sold last week to an official at an embassy that I won't tell you which country it is. And the dealer markup above the $132,000 for the car was $60,000.
It wasn't armored or something, was it?
No.
It wasn't an armored
no
S-Class.
Well, it was right off the lot.
Wow. So they figured, you got the money, you need the car, here's the price.
Man, I mean, really?
Oh, what is that I feel at the back of my head? It feels like the end of a barrel of some kind.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
let's just talk about I am a fan of the S-Class. I think it is a big, elegant sedan, and I'd like to get in it and drive across country. That's my take.
Oh, I would too. It's super comfortable.
Super comfortable. All kinds of technology. You can't get it with the V12 anymore, but you can get it with, I believe, a twin-turbo V8.
Right.
And it's just a beautiful, elegant, long hood, sedan, and comfortable, quiet.
It's a personal limousine.
I mean, if I was at a higher income bracket, I would certainly have one in the fleet as a
it would have
beautiful
to be
cruiser car.
Pretty high, but yes.
Yeah, as a car to cruise around in and say, hey, I just want a nice, smooth ride. I'm going out somewhere to a nice place to eat or something like that.
Yeah.
It would be for cash conversion, as we say. You would convert some cash into that. Yeah. Good stuff, Les. Yeah, it's always great to get out, and we love to share with what we've driven, and maybe it gives you some ideas on something you want to get into and try. Let's talk a little tech. Custom paint, let's face it, it's been around for ages, but it's never cheap, especially if you're looking to get some stripes added to your vehicle, or you want a certain part of trim to be a different color, to make it sort of individual, right? Of course, you had to disassemble it. Someone had to mask it. Someone had to prep it. And
that's right.
It's expensive. It's a lot of labor, mostly prep. But now BMW says they have a way that they can customize paint at the factory, offering exciting new colors. And it's a thing called the Individual Paint Program. Special colors, special striping. It can all be applied without stencils or masking the vehicle.
How in the world are they going to do that?
Well, it's complete. It's going to be completed It's been piloted at their plant in, can you say that?
Yes.
Dinglefling?
Dinglefing, Germany, which
Dinglefing.
is just down the road from Hogwarts.
Exactly.
It really is a place, Dinglefing.
These are they're sporting custom two-tone paintwork and M4 logos on the hood and tailgate. They do this with a robotic painting system that is so accurate that as I said, they don't need any stencil or any taping off of anything. And they showed a picture of stripes being painted on the vehicle with literally it just started as a plain paint.
It's just remarkable.
Yeah, they use robots apply the paint very precisely and can create contrast and other paint effects. Hey, we'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. Before the break, we were talking about BMW's really interesting painting system. Must cost tens of millions.
People were asking, like, you mean I don't need that blue painter's tape anymore? I don't need to mask. No, and it's not electrostatic. It is what they call the Eco Paint Jet Pro. Variable paint thickness can be put in. There's an orifice plate that allows high levels of definition of paint with variable paint thickness. And that's what we know about it so far, folks. So
I'll tell you, I'd love to see that in action. Now, we go to factories, but no one's ever allowed in the paint areas.
Because I'm afraid hairs will drop off of your fuzz and
Yep.
it'll become nibs in the paint. Like, oh, look, there's a journalist's pen that got stuck. That's stuck to the side.
And it's about your thumbprint.
Yeah. Don't touch that. It's wet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh. Hey, interesting news this week. A friend of ours, Mark Fields, he'd been on the show a couple of times. He used to run Ford, and he was there for quite a long time, ran Ford, and then eventually was pushed out of that job. Very nice guy, like straight up nice. Just you could talk to him like we talk to each other, Les. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's going to run Hertz, which is interesting because they were bankrupt. We thought they were going to go away. Now he's going to build it up. And I think that's interesting because you think about people that maybe have a short-range electric car. They need to rent a longer-range vehicle, perhaps. A lot of ideas I have. People getting used to the idea of not owning a car, but car sharing, they can get into that. A lot of interesting things. You might have to have him on, talk about that, because it's a kind of a different animal now. It's not the old, hey, I went on a trip and I need a car. Frankly, too, right now, I don't know what rental car prices are, but they were hugely inflated.
It's an awful lot.
Yeah. So it's I think the future of the car rental business is an interesting one, and it can go in a lot of different ways. And I think there's a lot of new revenue opportunities for that, and it will be interesting to see.
And I think they're all going to get into car sharing.
Car sharing, yeah, exactly. Interesting stuff. Hey, Guinness Book of World Records. A record was earned by Toyota in the Mirai, and it is the longest run of a fuel cell vehicle without refueling. They won the Guinness Book of World Records record, 845 miles driven on a single 5-minute complete fill of hydrogen. A round-trip tour of Southern California. It's pretty amazing that this was it was driven by someone. I think we had him on the show, Wayne Gerds, who is a professional hypermiler, and I think Toyota is doing a great job of raising awareness of hydrogen power and fuel cells, and this is a great way to raise awareness. 845 miles on one refill, and it took 5 minutes to fill that tank.
There it is. There's the future, folks.
And wouldn't that be great for trucks? Big haul trucks, that if you could get that range on one refill and it takes 5 minutes to fill up again.
No pollution at all.
No pollution at all. And I think it's pretty exciting. So hats off to Toyota for that. Pretty cool stuff. Now, Les, I'm going to ask you a question. NASA is looking for people to redesign the Astrovan. Now, it's actually an Airstream motorhome. It's not the Astrovan from Chevy. That was the small van. This takes a 20-minute ride when there's going to be to the launch pad. It's a 9-mile ride. Takes about 20 minutes. You have to have room for astronauts in full spacesuits. This has been going on for a long time. They used to use a Cortez motorhome. I remember that. And then they've used this Airstream since 1984. Of course, the Artemis program is coming up with trips back to the moon, and they're looking to update this vehicle, and they're looking for proposals. They're due on October 22nd. Probably looking for electrification, perhaps, or maybe even updating these current models, which is kind of cool. And I just thought, what if they took it to Dave Kendig and had them modify it? Hey, they built the Futureliner. They restored the Futureliner.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do. I would get it to some of those guys that have shops and see what people come up with. And it has to be something functional. It can't be, like, well, we've got a nitro-powered engine in it and zoomy headers out the side. But what do you think?
Yeah, but they can do really interesting styling tricks.
Yeah. I think you have to, if you're getting in a spacesuit, I thought something where you could, basically, they sit there in chairs and a lift comes up and lifts the chair into this, the whole side opens up, and because you can't get through that door in a spacesuit, I don't think. It's a regular size motorhome door. They're not even 3 feet wide. I've been through them, so there's not a lot of room. I think that's something you would look at, a way of loading them on the back or something. And you don't have a lot of maneuverability. But if you have an idea, I do think one of those shows should do it. I think it would be cool. And if I was Dave Kendig, I would put a proposal in for doing it. And they've got the chops to do it.
Why wouldn't they just use one of the buses that the rock stars use?
Oh, that's an idea. I just think you need a big door to get in. You got a gigantic backpack on and all that stuff.
Well, just a big door.
Yeah. Somebody will say, I'll chop a big hole in the side and put a door in it. Okay, that's $600 million. But it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. There's another interesting story about foxes. Apparently, foxes like brake fluid. They like the taste of brake fluid. Never having eaten brake fluid, I don't know what it tastes like. I would imagine it wouldn't be that good. But, of course, last week there was the news in North Dakota where a squirrel packed 150 pounds of walnuts in the engine bay of a Chevy Avalanche. Now, from West Sussex in the UK, come some stories that in the town of Horsham, for the past 6 or 7 months, foxes are chewing through the wiring and brake lines of parked cars. They're going on a frenzy, and they have counted 36 foxes in the area, and they go crazy. They like the smell of brake fluid, and they are ripping through these vehicles, causing a lot of damage. The only thing that the residents have been doing to protect their rides is they've been wrapping them in canvas, like putting a top canvas that goes all the way around the bottom. But you think they probably get through that pretty easily if they can chew through brake lines and wires, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, not a good thing to find that. You put your foot down on the brake and it goes right out the bottom, and there's a puddle of brake fluid. That would ruin your day, and you'd probably be late for work, wouldn't you?
That's true.
Yeah.
And, you can't say a fox chewed my brake line.
It would sound sketchy. It definitely would sound sketchy. Hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check for the links at cruisecontrolradio.com. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.